Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. I'm Snappy, and thank you for joining me today on June 30th. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. I'm so excited to be here with you all. And we're going to start, as always, by giving a shout out to the chat. Hey, Oz, good to see you. Excited that you made it. It was great chatting with you the other day. Good to see you, Nico's Mask. Great to see you, Rob. Much love. Good to see you, Higgins Wallop. Good to see you, Kari. Welcome. And also shout to everyone who's lurking. And if you could give me a like and a subscribe, it really does make a big difference. The likes do boost this in the algorithm. And if you are interested, you can reach me in my email in the description, snappydts@gmail.com. If you are interested in a private reading, please reach out. You can also find me on the Myth and Lore Discord. I'm Snappy or Lady Snappy. All right, shout out also to Exit 101. Shout out to Steve McQueen. And of course, to the lovely Gandhi. Amazing, amazing. Thank you all for coming. This is going to be fun. Okay, so today's energy is really a really cool shift. Hi, Cass. Good to see you creeping. We have the moon moving into this energy of Taurus today. And this is kind of really interesting because it immediately makes me think of the Hierophant card. Because the Hierophant card is that Taurus energy, but in that divine feminine, right? So it's very similar. Instead of Venus, though, this is the moon, So this is a really incredible kind of energy, a time when you can really connect the macrocosm to the microcosm, right? You can really be in that presence of the divine, in that completeness, in that really transcendent aspect. This is a time when you can connect to that deep, profound flow of the universe, right? Taurus is such a grounded energy, and it is so connected to the past and to family and to our ancestors and to our roots. And in the moon, it lends itself to this deep intuitive sense of being able to connect to that primordial current. What's so wild is I was doing the sortes before this, and I got this incredible passage I wanted to share with you. This is from Entering the Desert by Craig Williams, an incredible book. Craig Williams is an Ayurvedic doctor, a martial artist, and of course a magician. And this is a great book just talking about his path. And what I did is I opened the book and I came to this passage. It says, "The gaze of the alone, cultivating the womb of silence and the sacramental vision. From such a self, verily, space came into existence. From space emerged air, from air fire, from fire water, from water the earth, from the earth herbs, from herbs food, from food man." And that's in the Taittiriya Upanishad. And I just thought it was pretty interesting that I opened it to this passage about cultivating the womb of silence and the sacramental vision, right? And going back to that primordial elemental creation. This energy of the moon in Taurus allows us to go back to that womb of silence, to be in that deep, transformative, sacramental vision of that flowing mother, that vibration, connecting to that eternal flow. Really, really profound. Love that. So we also have this amazing energy of the sun in Cancer, which we've been dealing with quite a bit. And it is that emotional energy. So when we're connected to this Taurus, we also need to be aware that there's this deep family connection, right? This is a time to be in this stable mode, to be in this emotional mode, to turn to your loved ones, to be in this deep loving connection. Taurus is slow moving, but is so connected to family and to that joy, right? And being in that place of with the loved ones. And with the people who are closest to you and who matter most. So this is profound energy. And combining that with that sun in Cancer, right, we have this emotional connection. So it can really deepen these familial bonds, Powerful. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So we're now going to jump to our sortes. We're going to start with Entering the Desert, which I already read from. And for those of you unfamiliar, the sortes is a form of divination by bibliomancy. That is divination via literature, where we flip through the book, we select a page at random, invoke the muses, and ask them to guide us, to send us inspiration. So let's see. Muses, guide my hand. What is the inspiration? What is the message? How do we best move in flow? As exoteric consideration of great value, the cell provides shelter from the ravages of modernity and the vampiric influence of the vapid, mundane landscape. This is really interesting. An exoteric consideration of great value. The cell provides shelter from the ravages of modernity and the vampiric influence of the vapid, mundane landscape. This is that energy of the hermit, right? This is that energy of disconnection. And while we don't want to always be in perpetual disconnection, there is a profound ability to focus and to remove oneself from these external influences. And there is a lot to be said about this, right? We live in such a world where everything is trying to take your time and attention. Everything wants you, right? Time is power, and everyone is trying to get it from everyone. So if you need to break free of this kind of influence, if you want to focus and you want to do serious study or focus on the self, then you need to be in that place where you have a cell, you have a personal space, a place where you can separate, a place where you can take that time out, where you can be alone with the alone. You know, that's another really good book everyone should read, Alone with the Alone, Harry Corbin. You know, but this is that time you take to do that hermitage, to focus in on the self. And you need that space of separation as well, right? Interesting, profound. All right, love it. Let's continue. We're now going to go to the Book of Thoth. This is a fantastic book. I highly recommend it. My favorite tarot book. All right, Muse, guide my hand. What is the message and the inspiration? All right. It is simply the error of being good-natured when good nature is disastrous. Wow. Wow. That's hard energy. It is simply the error of being good-natured when good nature is disastrous. This is something that is very hard for the lovers like myself out there to really handle. You know, we need to be in that resilience. We need to be in that inner strength. We need to be able to take these blows, you know. Sometimes our best intentions explode in our face. You know, there's always that classic saying, right? The road to hell is paved with good intentions, you know? And your good nature will not save you. This is why it's so important to be able to move and flow and to adapt and to react, right? Yes, to be in that mercurial energy, right? Beautiful. Love that. Okay. We are now going to jump over to Antonin Artaud, Watch Fiends and Rack Screams. This is an amazing collection of his poetry from the final period. All right, Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Artaud? What is the inspiration? All your great books, from the Vedas to the Gospels, by way of the Upanishads, the Brahmaputras, and the imitation of Jesus Christ, consist only of this search for happiness and a beatitude whose bottom is an erotic, not love, but an erotic. Wow. Is that pursuit for the divine beauty? Wow. Cosmogonic Eros. The search for a lacuna state as a low watermark of the infinite. Wow. All your great books, from the Vedas to the Gospels, by the way of the Upanishads, the Brahmaputras, and the imitation of Jesus Christ, consist only for this search for a happiness and a beatitude whose bottom is an erotic, not love, but an erotic. The search for a lacuna state as a low water mark of the infinite. Wow. He's calling out all of this traditional stuff, the traditional mythologies and gospel literature, right, as being nothing more than debased eroticism, as leading one to that. This is a powerful image, right? The lacuna state, and taking one to this kind of low watermark. What is this? For those of you who are familiar with something like the hymn to the Mother of Gods, he's talking about being bound up in matter, being bound in the waters, engaging with those nymphs, right? Whereas these Christians try to say, right, a lot of these Orthodox religions that are so stressed in these Orthodox texts, they try to say that they are the inverse of this. But Artaud is saying no. That this extreme abstinence and the denial of the world results in exactly what they are trying to break free of, right? And that it is a fear and an ego trap. Interesting, interesting, interesting. All right. We're going to hop over to Hermann Hesse, Narcissus and Goldmund. This is a fantastic book. Highly recommend everyone check it out. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is our message today? What is the inspiration? What is this world in which we are made to live? Is it not hell? Is it not revolting and disgusting? Yes, right? It is both heaven and hell. It's that duality of forms. The universe is what it is, and that is everything. And that includes the most revolting and disgusting. You cannot have beauty without decay. You know, you cannot have this. And we are bound in the earth, right? The earth that is the underworld. Yes, and as they say, hail Satan. All right. Love it. All right, we're going to hop over to Christopher Marlowe's Faust. This is a beautiful play. Christopher Marlowe is a contemporary of Shakespeare, a British playwright, extraordinarily short-lived, but incredibly gifted. And this is a phenomenal read. All right. What is the message from Dr. Faustus in Marlowe? Muses, guide my hand. Send us the inspiration. They say thou hast a familiar spirit by whom thou canst accomplish what thou wish. They say thou hast a familiar spirit by whom thou canst accomplish what thou list. Familiar spirit. That's an interesting thing. This is a message that's come up before with this. The familiar spirit is those animals that are closest to you, those connections that are closest to you in spirit as well. The familiar, the ancestors and the animal. And this is a message is to connect to those things that are closest to us, right? Those familiar spirits, blood, earth, and animal. That's what's closest to you. If you live near the woods, go to the woods. If you live near a river, go to the river. If you have pets, treat them well and pay attention to what they got to say. All right. Love it, love it, love it. All right. We are going to go to Goethe's Faust. If we did Dr. Faustus, might as well do Faust. Goethe is such a brilliant writer. A lot of people in the English haven't read him, but you must read him. Phenomenal. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message? What do we take from Goethe? What's the inspiration? Just says, Mephistopheles, how right I was. I think that's interesting. You have the devil talking about how right they are. How right I was. This makes me think of the story of Lucifer and Cain a mystery. This idea, right? That maybe the devil is right. Maybe he wasn't the liar and the other one was the liar all along. Who's deceiving whom? Something to ponder. Interesting. All right. We are going to hop over to Lord Byron, the selected poetry and letters. All right. Byron is definitely a dragon, one of the greats. All right, muses, guide my hand. What is our inspiration? What can Byron teach us? A king sat on the rocky brow, which looks o'er sea-born Salamis, and ships by thousands lay below, and men and nations all were his. A king sat on the rocky brow, which overlooks o'er sea-born Salamis, and ships by thousands lay below, and men and nations all were his. I'm actually going to read the second line too, because it's really profound. He counted them at daybreak, and when the sun set, where were they? Wow. Wow. This is reminding us that the power of kings is still bound to the cycles, right? And even those ships and power and strength will dissipate and die like anything else. The sun will set for all the empires, right? None of your material wealth upon earth is ever going to be lasting. Wow. Beautiful. Profound message. All right. We are now going to hop over to our Ganesh oracle here. Gotta love Ganapati. All right. Ganesh, Lord of the Ganas, send us a message. What do we need to focus on? All right. What's the inspiration? Cultivation. Practice, right? It's kind of funny. I was talking with some friends earlier about this. One of the original Boeotian muses is Melody. Practice, right? Cultivating the self is a muse. And to cultivate the self is to be in that act of inspiration, right? This is a conversation that needs to be cultivated and that unfolds in the practice, right? Adoration is something that must be done continuous. You must turn back again and again and again and cultivate that gaze, that communication, that connection, right? Everything takes practice. I always remember one of my favorite quotes is by this brilliant violinist, Itzhak Perlman. And it goes, if I don't practice for 1 day, I notice. If I don't practice for 2 days, my wife notices. If I don't practice for 3 days, the audience notices, right? And this is one of the world's top performers, right? That's what it takes. You must always be in this state of practice. To practice is to be in communication with the muse. Okay? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, we're now going to move to our tarot reading proper. As always, we use the Thoth Tarot deck of Lady Frida Harris and Aleister Crowley. We are going to do the Saturn Square, where we invoke that power of Saturn, that god of wisdom, and we ask him to cut our life up, dissect it on the plate, and to show us the conflicts, show us the connections. What do we need? How do we best move and flow, and how do we grow? Interesting energy. The princess. You know, when I was doing and meditating in the early morning, I had this energy of that prince again, the prince of discs, right? That young and mature person who's still growing and needs to come out of his shell, who needs to expand out of that garden, you know, take that leap, be in flow and maturity. But we're now seeing as our center card, the princess of discs. This is a new relationship, something new in a new creation, profound potential, born in reality, something that'll grow into the queen. A really, truly powerful card to have as our center of our square, right? Let's see where that's going. Beautiful. that high priestess energy, that intuitive energy, right? That lunar energy. So incredible to have this high priestess connected to this discs, right? This makes me think of that Taurus in the moon, right? We have this connection right now where this intuitive feminine side, this lunar magic, is connecting us and helping us birth something in this physical realm. Wow. Let's see what's on the other side. Yeah, and this is born of sacrifice, born of change. Interesting. This birth is coming as a result of active change. You seeing that something needs to be done and going through that hard practice, right? Transforming the self. This is the card of practice in many ways, right? You have to give up your time. You have to give up and change what you're doing and make an active change, and that requires hard work, right? But the rewards are incredible. Let's see where this is going. Yeah, oh my gosh. On the top card of that Princess of Discs, we have that goddess, the Empress, the divine feminine, right? The feminine in all of her potential and all of her glory, right? What does that princess evolve into? She becomes that divine feminine. Let's see where that goes. Yeah, on the next to this queen, this Empress energy, we have that valor, right? The Seven of Wands. This is interesting energy. The Seven Wands is all about trying to manifest beyond the stability of the six, right? The six is this profound, balanced number, right? But in fire wants to continuously burst forward. So what we see here is it's trying to expand into the seven and go into that eight. And it's showing up a little wobblier, but it is pushing forward, right? The key is to remain in balance with this card. To be in that state of knowing you are on the right path. Keep going. Keep pursuing that will, that desire, that passion. What is pushing you, right? And it's connected to this Empress. There's this sense that you're trying to embody this energy. You want to manifest this energy. And right now it requires that valor. Let's see where this is going on the other side. There's our Prince of Discs. I knew he was going to show up because I pulled him this morning, right? So this is that immature energy, and it's connected to the Princess of Discs. So what I'm seeing here is that this energy is manifesting this queen. It is doing the hard work. We also have it connected to the Hangman. We'll see later. So this young, immature energy is really trying to manifest change, and it is producing results. You know, even if they're showing up rocky and they're having this struggle, they are pushing out of this garden. They are recognizing this need for growth and transformation. Wow. So the key is to be in that state of valor, right? To trust in this Empress energy. Wow. Beautiful. Okay. We're now going to move to the bottom. Oh, wow. It's not just one princess. It's two. Not only do we have that beautiful birth in the material, in the discs, right? In our pentacles. But we have that new birth in passionate, fiery, loving energy. Wow. This is children, right? This is new passion projects. This is new love. This is profound, profound creation. And it's manifesting. Wow. Let's see where that's going. Wow. Connected to this princess energy, we have the Knight of Swords. You know, so that prince, he's growing, and through this connection of this creation of coming together and supporting and building something, they're going to upgrade into this Knight of Swords, right? That logical, mature person who can do what's right to protect and defend. Beautiful. Wow. Let's see where this is going on the other side here. Yeah. New perspectives, new way of seeing things in a new logical pursuit. Beautiful to have that connected to this night energy. And the result is this fiery, birth this new passionate creation, this new loving connection. Oh, wow. That's incredible energy. So from the Empress, we're having 2 children. Isn't that magical? All right. Just before I tilt my camera, I'm just going to ask you guys, could you give me a like and a subscribe? The likes really do make a big difference. They boost the algorithm. It helps me get seen by more people, and it's a good little blessing and good karma for you. Also, if you are interested in a private reading, you can reach out to me, snappydts@gmail.com. Or you can message me on the Discord, Myth and Lore, I'm Snappy or Lady Snappy. All right, let's tilt our camera so you can see the totality of our square. Okay. We're going to start by reading this line here. So, as you can see, we have the Priestess. This is the catalyst right here. So, connecting to this, and what powerful energy to have for this moon in Taurus, right? What is the moon in Taurus all about? It is the twin, right, of this Priestess energy. And together, it's this power of being able to draw down the macrocosm to the microcosm, to connect to that transformative will, the true nature, the true essence, that deep, profound goddess energy. And it's this energy that is going to drive us. It's going to provide us that power to transform and embody this logical knight, right? Which is so interesting, right? How do we upgrade to become the logical knight? Through fiery passion and connecting to the feminine. It's a very interesting way to go about it. But this is the result. So there's something here that we need to see that is going to have a click for us, that is going to manifest itself in an outgoing, fiery reason that's going to transform us into this character, right? That's really mature, intense, strong energy. All right, we go here now to our center, right? We had, as the center card is this child, this birth, this new creation, this new essence, right? Something that is born of 2. And what is it born of? This connection with the Empress, right? And this Empress is not simply giving birth to 1, she's giving birth to 2, right? And that second child is this fiery passion, this fiery love, right? There's so much creative potential here and so much ability and profound growth. Seek out this Empress, right? Bring this energy into your life, and it will create an abundance, right? These are energies that will grow and expand, right? This is not just, these are children that need to be nurtured in conjunction with her, right? So whether they are physical children or new projects or new passionate or new art, whatever they are, they need to be nurtured together in this compassionate communion with this beautiful, profound woman, this person who's that embodiment of that mother, that Empress, right? The Empress is the duality, right? She is both Aphrodite Urania and Aphrodite Pandemos, right? She's the 2 triangles merged into one, right? She is that exalted mother who's perfect and virginal, and also she's that lustful lover who's there for everyone. Beautiful. All right, we're now going to go to our last row here. Active change, making the sacrifice, right? This is what it's about. In that Prince of Discs, how does he make that change? By seeing a new perspective, taking a logical shift, embracing this new transformative change, right? And that is going to bring this young man into maturity, right? He is manifesting, he is connecting and bringing about this creation, but there's still growth here that needs to come, and it is going to be born of transformation. Taking responsibility, seeing things from a new logical perspective, right? And imagining things into the future. The thing about the thing about the aces, right? This is always the beginning of new things. This requires imagination. It requires you creating something, seeing where you want to perceive yourself. Where are you going? Where does the mind take you? Right? Project that. Interesting. We're now going to do our cross. Our first cross. Yeah, as we see, this young man energy, this immature, outgoing energy that is building, it is creating, it is manifesting, but it is still immature. But what is it connected to on the other side? This knight of the logic, this mature energy that's coming in, that's going to take on a role. So this energy is going to, through this responsibility, right? Because the princesses are children. You have a responsibility to this. You know, this is not just something to create and leave. It must be nurtured and cared for in communion, right? With this Empress energy, right? This is something that is manifesting from two or more people, right? And it is important that this person connects to this because they're going to upgrade into the night through that connection, through that responsibility. Beautiful. All right. Our final cross, be in this valorous state. It's this passionate energy, and pursuing this passionate energy is going to manifest this new creation, this new birth in your reality. And you want this. This is such beautiful, profound growth energy, you know? Building something truly real. The key is to be in this valorous state of pursuing your passions and to be open to new perspectives and to imagine how this will be. What are you creating? Who is she going to become? What is her future going to be like? Right? Imagination and projecting into the future is a magical act of creation. Right? And do this with her. Interesting. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. I'm now going to tilt the camera up. I hope that all resonated with you. It was a very intense reading, but a magical one. So I'm just going to give a quick shout out here to the chat, see how everyone is doing. So thank you all for tuning in. This has been lovely. Good to see you, Maria. You, Sabreth 33, good to see you. Namdo, good to see you. Wow. Lots of people in the chat today. Amazing, amazing, amazing. All right. So we're going to do a couple final sortases, and then we're going to call it an evening. So to start, I'm going to go back to Entering the Desert by Craig Williams, right? This is a phenomenal book. I highly recommend. Anathema Publishing House produces nothing but quality books as well. So check it out. All right, let's ask the muses. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Craig Williams? How do we best move and flow? What do we take forward? All right. The point of inspired expression occurs after the devotee has patiently read and reflected upon the chosen verse of sacred scripture. Wow. This point of inspired expression occurs after the devotee has patiently read and reflected upon the chosen verse of sacred scripture. I think that's interesting with that other line we had from Artaud, who was crumping all over sacred scripture. But, you know, there's still plenty of sacred scriptures. You don't have to go to those, you know, orthodox ones. But this is also a really beautiful idea, right? The point of inspiration, right? The point of inspired expression occurs after the devotee has engaged, has patiently read and reflected upon the chosen verse. So it's not enough to perceive that object of beauty, right? It's not enough to engage with a text. You must then reflect upon it. You must meditate upon it and take it into that internal self. Right? Beauty must be perceived again and again and must be reflected upon, drank unto its depths. If you want to have that inspiration truly take hold, right, you have to really allow yourself to be possessed by it. Beautiful. All right. Since I got some feeling for that Artaud quote, I decided to go back to Morarto. All right. Muses, what is the inspiration? Guide my hand. All right. What's going to happen is that men are going to show their instincts repressed for so long, and I, my true language. Wow. What's going to happen is that men are going to show their instincts repressed for so long, and I, my true language. Now, this sounds deeply, deeply, deeply prophetic, okay? Because what is, when the muses, when they talk about the cyclical change, like in the hymn to the Mother of Gods, why does the cycle change for these empires? Because they persecute and regulate the minorities and the women specifically, right? They oppress and repress, right? And it's specifically when people repress their instincts, it's going to come out in violence and transformation, right? You cannot resist this type of stuff. You have to move and flow and balance. And what does the prophecies also say? That true song will be heard again, that language will be known, and the names will be revealed. Interesting to think about, right? Think about repression and what this actually does. We have to learn to be in balance, dote and antidote, right? Beautiful. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. This has been a fun reading. I think since we have such a good turnout, I'm going to do a couple more sorteses. We're having fun here. All right. We're going to go back to Marlowe, Dr. Faustus. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message? What is the inspiration from Dr. Faustus? Cut is the branch that might have grown full straight, and burned is Apollo's laurel bough, that sometime grew within this learned man. Wow. Cut is the branch that might have grown full straight, and burned is Apollo's laurel bough, that sometime grew within this learned man. Doesn't that deeply connect to what we just read? Cut is the branch that might have grown full straight, and burned is Apollo's laurel bough, that sometime grew within this learned man. This learned man, right? He learned to repress himself, learned to connect to that tradition. Instead, what did they do? They cut their branch that might have grown full and straight, right? They burned their brow, their connection to that Apollo. Who is Apollo but that joy of the sun, right? That profound, musical, beautiful performer, you know, that God of the joy. And he's burned off your laurel brow. Wow. Cut is the branch that might have grown full straight, and burned is Apollo's laurel brow that sometime grew within this learned man. Do not repress oneself. You must not bind oneself. You have to learn to adapt and move and flow, to be able to move between the poles, to move between these cycles, to shift when is necessary and to adapt, right? Interesting, interesting, interesting. All right, everyone. I think this was a really beautiful, beautiful reading. I'm going to call it an evening. I hope I will see you all shortly over at the Lady Babylon show. It's going to be a good one. All right, everyone. Peace and love. Have a beautiful evening. Take care.